So I visualize one day we are going to have a covered arena.
Well, that'd be nice.
So because this is in the hot sun, I'd love to have a covered arena. The other thing I will be investing in is a line of mirrors on the short side at the letter C. But, hey guys, I'm Megan.
And I'm Stephanie. And we are
Barnbestiesllc
with
Farm Fresh Advice
for you. So we are here to impart the knowledge that we have learned over the years of building and running barns, so that you guys don't have to have the problems and the misery and the mistakes that we made. Hope you enjoy our videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, right?
Right, and we hope to save you time and money on your new adventures.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, it's Megan.
And I'm Stephanie, and here we are in Megan's arena as promised.
Here we are.
I should say Megan's outdoor arena as
Outdoor
promised.
arena. Check it out.
So Megan, how big is this beast?
This arena is 80 by 200.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She's stunning. And she's constructed very similar to my indoor. Clay
Where
base.
are we?
We are on the north side of the property.
So what was this before you built? This is fairly new, is it not? How long have you had this? So, as we mentioned before, her indoor arena was her old outdoor arena. So this is fairly new construction since then.
I would say
4 or 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Okay.
So, because we were without an
Pre-COVID?
outdoor
Pre-COVID?
pre-COVID.
Okay.
Yep.
So what was here before this was an
This
arena?
actually was a nice, it was 2 pastures actually. But the horses did not like it down here. So I decided we needed an outdoor, and we made this beautiful outdoor.
Yeah.
And it is constructed similar to the indoor. It has a clay base or sub base, and then the base is 6 inches of compacted screenings.
Oh, that's that stuff we love.
That's
Crushed
my favorite
limestone.
stuff.
Crushed
And
limestone.
so we actually take a step back. We had to do a lot of excavation,
Okay.
because if you look behind us, cameraman, we have a hill, and they had to cut out the hill. We had numerous trees that we had to cut down, burn, and also
Take all the stumps out, right?
Yep, take out all the stumps. We put it in the ground, and then they also had to do the drainage around this arena. So this arena is a little higher, and then there's like a little I don't know what you
Like
trench.
almost a channel or a trench around it to handle the water flow.
Around
That's
this arena.
Smart.
And then the other thing I had wanted was a track around the arena. So it goes track,
A galloping
trench.
track for racehorses?
yes, and then the outdoor. And so
Nice.
then they put the screenings. We talked about that. And then I think about 6 months we rode on it. It got rained on.
Yeah.
They compacted it. We rode on it. It
Yep.
got rained on. And then we put
Your footing down.
sand down. Although I believe we put the railroad ties in first with the compacted
That holds your
screenings.
footing in, right?
Holds the footing, which
Nice.
was a great idea. And then we put the sand on top.
Nice.
and-
Yeah.
And you'll notice the railroad ties go around the whole perimeter except
your
for
entrance.
the entrance where our lovely Kubota is. We actually don't drag it with the Kubota. We drag it with the TYM, which is a
tractor.
50 horsepower utility tractor that's connected to our manure spreader. The drag lives on the side of the arena. I actually prefer a tine drag. It's a field drag that I've had for 30 years. So it's actually one of my favorite drags. We placed letters. It's a dressage court. We do dressage here, so we have letters around the arena. I love this arena because of its location. For my old arena, there was a driveway.
Oh yeah.
And so
Turnouts,
then people
driveway,
were
barn.
going by with their trucks, with their cars. Horses are turned out on either side of it. This is so peaceful to train horses. So really think of your location. Maybe you don't have a good location on your property and you have to make do. Maybe you need to make hedges. But
Right.
I love,
absolutely.
love this location. Definitely think about it. It also is a work in progress. So I visualize one day we are going to have a covered arena.
Well, that'd be nice.
So because this is in the hot sun, I'd love to have a covered arena. The other thing I will be investing in is a line of mirrors on the short side at the letter C. But
That'll
that
be
is
wild facing south.
TBA. Yeah, but all our, see, the
It's
wind,
covered. Yeah.
our wind blows in
reflection.
this way. Yeah,
You might start some stuff.
hopefully
good.
not.
So, did they do anything special? I know in my outdoor arena, we crowned it to kind of help with water runoff. And mine's also tilted. Yours looks actually a little bit crowned.
No.
It's a little higher in the middle than on the edge. If you look at
Well,
it,
you know,
it does look a little crowned. So that's nice. And then you've got, as you mentioned, the drainage on the side. So that's really quite nice.
and we put stone around the outside of it, but really we don't have any standing water. It's a great arena. It drains. It's wonderful. And this is the first year we've actually had a dusty arena. It's been pretty dry, and we sadly don't have a water tank anymore. We used to have a do-it-your-own water tank on a hay wagon that we would drive around, and it would water the arena. So we unfortunately don't have any watering equipment
We
down
just need
here.
Mother Nature here.
And
That's what I have at my place. It's just Mother Nature watered.
And it has worked for
It
five
works.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
been
great.
beautiful. The only major issue would be weeds. And
Yes.
it doesn't matter what arena you have, you're always going to be
Dealing with
fighting the weeds. And we need to spray. We usually do, we have a brush hog, we have weed eaters, and my wonderful fiance actually hand pulls weeds.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I would recommend that.
A little here and there, but I definitely, better living through Roundup and weed whacking and mowing.
Yep. So yeah,
So, if you let the weeds get out of control, you lose the arena.
you do. Yeah, they just encroach. So
Yeah.
we've been very lucky. They haven't encroached too much. We
Yeah,
just
with
have to
the
do a
amount of
little
use-
roundup on the sides.
I would think with the amount of use you get, it's going to be a little harder for them to grow in the middle, but mine, when I was in full-blown use, there wasn't any issues, but now that mine's not really getting used, I definitely am having to really keep an eye on the weed situation.
Yeah.
They will take advantage, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really nice. And you got, it looks like you got your drag down here, you've got a mounting block.
Oh
everything
yeah,
you
we
need.
didn't talk about that. Sorry about that, guys. Alongside, I'm not sure you can see it. It might be in the shadows, but we have an all-purpose. It's a 3-step up mounting block.
Weather
And
resistant and
weather, yeah, because it's not wood. It is fake wood. So it lives out here 24/7. So you have a way to get on your horse.
everything.
So yeah,
that's
this is my outdoor.
It's
So-
great. So you deal with the turkeys, the deer, the birds, and whatever wildlife. And
That's
it's
it.
nice and quiet. There's no, I don't hear any cars. There's
It's-
really no noise.
It's very peaceful.
Now,
It is fun
this
when the deer
direction
come out.
behind us is farmland. So what, twice a year you might have to deal with listening to tractors or something. But
Usually, yeah,
Pretty
we really
planting and
gotta-
harvesting only, which is so it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Very
Yep.
peaceful. So, well, thank you, Megan, for showing
Yeah.
us this.
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah,
Love it when you
absolutely.
come over, Steph.
We will take a trip to my farm and show you guys my outdoor arena as well. So stay tuned for that, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Hey everybody, so we're here at my farm and talking about the arenas. I only have an outdoor arena. I put this in, probably probably close to 15 years ago. This is 80 by 180. I couldn't quite get to 200 feet. I was running up against my pasture, running up against our septic and buildings here, but 80 by 180 was really nice.
This is a beautiful arena.
So a couple things about it. We dug out we have really beautiful topsoil here, so we dug out all the topsoil and kept that. I put in a sub base and a base. So I put in 6 inches of basically driveway gravel that we compacted in, and then I covered that with an additional 6 or 8 inches of crushed limestone, as we've talked about earlier in the video. And that is what is underneath our feet now. it can get really hard. Right now it's not. We had a really nice rain about a week ago. It's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
But as talked about, it can bake. It can bake. But when we were really using this, I was keeping it pretty dragged. I would come out here in like immediately after we had a rainstorm, and I had a heavy duty drag that really churned up about 1.5 to 2 inches and kind of gave it a softer footing. Now I haven't really been using this in age. I didn't use it at all this year. As you can tell, there is, look behind Megan, we got weeds. So part of the arena maintenance is killing off the weeds. I use chemicals to keep the weeds under control. Probably about 4 times during the growing season I will hit it. I did this about a week and a half ago, and everything is pretty much killed back for now. Hoping that'll get us into winter, but if not, I can spray it one more time. But I don't think I'll need to. Everything looks really good. But it's really important if you have an outdoor arena, once the weeds get in here, you got to keep them under control, or you'll lose your whole footing in all your arena.
Everything, and they will attack the fence. Tell us about your fence. I
love
your fence.
Yeah, so this is a type of PVC. It's really nice. It's flexible. I've come off, and it flexes. When you get thrown into it, it actually, you kind of get captured. Almost,
it doesn't shatter?
Almost like a net. No, I only have one piece of fencing down there that's busted, and that's from a horse kicking. And she just got it just right that it cracked. But haven't had any issues with it cracking. It's super flexible. So because I have young horses and I was breeding horses that had jumping, I did keep it pretty high. I have still had horses jump out of this arena. They will do that.
They do that.
But behind the camera, I actually have a 14-foot gate. Plenty of room to get a UTV or a tractor in here to drag and to pull the drag through. You want to make sure your gates are wide enough that your equipment you use to do your maintenance can actually come through them if you've got it enclosed. Various parts of the arena I do have. You talked about you lined yours with railroad ties. I've got a little bit down in that corner where it kind of, both corners where it flows. And I've got a little bit up here.
So why did you put them just in certain locations?
Tree leaves.
Oh, yeah.
Tree leaves, and just to make sure you still get some leaves through here, but honestly there's a big oak tree that's off to my right, camera left, to try to keep some of the leaves out. Yeah. They do tend to blow through, which is great. They don't generally, they never really have stayed in the arena other than in a couple of places in the corners where I actually do have, like, we've either used old utility poles or we've used the railroad ties. So ideally I was going to be putting footing in here. I ran out of money, and we weren't too unhappy with the footing. I've held a lot of mirror and full inspections in here, and one of the last ones, literally everybody got in. It thunderstormed for 3 hours. And I mean poured for 3 hours, and then it was like, okay, we got to get going. And the inspector was from Germany, and he was really worried about the footing, and it was actually perfection. Because this was wet, it was almost like, almost at that point a sand consistency. We had such firm, secure footing. They raved about it and asked me for 45 minutes, asked me all about how I built this, because he thought it was going to be slippery and dangerous, and it was perfection. The horses showed themselves so nice. So I would have to say that in a droughty summer, this gets to be a challenge, because it does get dusty. With any indoor or outdoor, you're going to have that problem.
Did you do anything for dust management?
Did not, because this actually really wasn't intended to be footing. This is intended to be the base. You can ride on the base, and honestly, you can kind of see where I've drove around and stuff on here. But you would have to, you know, if I was going to put actual footing in, it was going to be sand. The other thing is, because of the fact that we do get heavy rains, and the way the land is flowed, this arena is crowned, so it's a little higher in the middle, and it kind of, the runoff goes to the sides, but it's also tilted. So we're higher over here than we are here. It's about a 3.5 degree tilt. It's extremely noticeable when you ride, but honestly, because the footing is so firm, it is wonderful strengthening training for the horses. They learn their balance. It's secure, safe footing. They're not going to blow a tendon on this. They learn how to balance themselves when they're doing their like lunging and in hand work and things like that. And then when they get a rider on, they start to learn, the riders also learn about balance. They learn how to engage themselves and stay balanced on their own and then under a rider. And with it being 80 foot wide, we can set up some jumps. We set up a lot of trot ground poles, canter ground poles, trot work and stuff like that, canter work over poles, little cavalettis and things. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I would say that if I were to add more, I have had some settling where I've actually ordered in a dump truck full of more screenings, and I've kind of had a couple of spots at the far end that settled. I filled them in. It's been fantastic. I probably would continue to raise this a little bit because it's a noticeable tilt.
Yeah.
But, and you can see, Megan, can you actually see the crown?
Yep.
I think you can see the crown really well.
Yep.
And that is specifically to handle heavy runoff. I have never had anything actually truly run off because the drainage is so amazing. Like when that inspection I had where it was literally pouring, it had poured all night, it poured all morning.
Wow.
As people were arriving, everybody thought that we were going to be standing water, and it had drained within 10 minutes.
Wow.
The 2 puddles at the end were gone. We weren't even really down there.
Wow.
There was no standing water. The footing was soft. It was like perfection.
Perfect.
So I got really lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we've talked about different types of railings. Briefly touched on, you know, do you put railings in? Do you not put railings in? I didn't want to do wood because wood shatters and can impale you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really love the look of the PVC.
It's beautiful.
It lasts a very long time. It's pretty easy to fix.
Years. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's 8 foot between each post. Yeah, it lasts really well. And again, it flexes a little if you get unloaded into it. At least the rails do. The posts aren't going to flex as well as the rails, but yeah, I definitely would say that if you are looking at building an outdoor, you need to consider the crowning so that you can handle water runoff. More important if you're in a, you know, I don't know about the desert, but they do get monsoons and stuff.
Yeah, they get monsoons.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. As you can see, kind of sometimes the fence settles, we go around and adjust it, but honestly it also follows the lay of the land. This is settled pretty heavily. Sometimes I climb over it, which doesn't help.
No, you don't.
I do. Not that often, but sometimes I do. So, but it's easy to adjust with a little assistance from maybe the tractor or the skid loader, but
Yeah,
get everything leveled out if you're really worried about it. But yeah, super easy to do. I love my outdoor. I would love an indoor.
Yeah. Would you have put an indoor right here?
So I don't know. I honestly think that the pasture that's off in this direction,
That's where you would have put it?
I think I would put the outdoor there because honestly, if I put it here, there would be absolutely no view of anything from the house.
Oh, yeah.
Not that you can see a ton, but you can see a bit.
It would block everything.
It would be all buildings, and the house already has a view of a lot of buildings. So.
That makes sense.
But then we talked about this with another video. You guys, if you have a moment, we've made a video, Megan talking about her indoor. We talk about connecting them. I wouldn't be able to connect them.
Yeah.
It would be too long.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it, but
you could make a tunnel, but
you could make a tunnel, but we run equipment. We run equipment through there.
Yeah, you don't want to.
So you'd have to have a really, you'd have a couple of doors. You have to be really tall and really big doors. So. Yeah, so thanks everybody for joining us. There's a couple options on arenas there.
Yeah.
And make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave us comments or questions down below. We will do our best to address them as best we can. We have the new videos or follow-ups to your comments. So have a great day, guys. We'll see you on our next video. Bye, everybody.